Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the Executive Innovation Show. I am late because of technology, y'all, but I am here. Come on in, say hello. And I'm going to make sure that I can actually hear you all because I know last Wednesday, it was an era where I did not see the comments. So let me make sure that I can see it. And if you're here, say hello, say hello in the chat. Come on in, drop hello in the chat. All right, I think there's a delayed. Okay, here we go. All right, so come on in and welcome to the Executive Innovation Show. I'm your host, Chevy, and today we're talking about the power of saying no. As a founder, you're probably in a space where you're like, yes to everything, but I'm here to share with you what might be going on with you, but also your business as you continue to say yes instead of saying no to opportunities. So come on in. And hopefully, this technology continues to just kind of stream because it has been a morning, y'all. So come on in, say hello. Let me introduce myself. If you're new here, welcome. Drop a 1 in the chat. If you are new and you're here for the first time watching me live, if you are my OG, the individuals who come here every Wednesday or do the replay, drop what you do and who you do it for. And as I stated, we are talking about being strategically disciplined, but also the power of saying no. And if you're new here, welcome. I am Chevy, your federal execution partner. And what I do, I support tech founders like yourself who wants to gain federal opportunities through strategic proposal and qualified proposal, which is key. Is not just about submitting anything, but also the founders who are looking to gain core partnerships to help them elevate their businesses, but also help them to position their innovation for cyber opportunities. And they bring me in because they don't want to, continue to sacrifice their time or capacity to get to that next growth level. So I am that person. I'm your execution partner, your BD consultant, facilitator trainer, but also I do have to mention an author as well too. So, but today we're talking about the power of saying no. So come on in, say hello. And before I share what I'm talking about today in the sense of the power of saying no, I want to share very quickly a quick story. So last week, I have conversations with founders all the time, and a founder and I was having a conversation, just kind of, sharing what's going on in their business and, giving me insight of what has been happening, how they had to be reflective in what happened last year. And what that founder shared with me, and you might be in the same situation, and hopefully this kind of give you that view of like, or that reflective mindset of like, am I doing this currently right now in my business? And this founder shared with me that last year, they had a lot of opportunities to speak, to be on stages. And this person is in the tech space. They're in the, when it comes to technology space and so forth. That's where their company is positioned. And the person shared with me that, they were getting a lot of opportunities, and and they kept saying yes and yes and yes to those opportunities. And they would speak on stages, like I mentioned, or they would be in that room. But what they realized after attending all of these different events and participating, being asked to speak and different things, that those rooms that they were in were not aligned rooms, meaning their buyers were not in that room. So they were spending time, energy, felt like they were having opportunities, yes, they did have opportunities, but those opportunities were not aligned of where the company was going. It was more of things that they thought, oh, this will be good. But internally, after reflecting, that person realized like, that was more of my style and not what the company needed at that moment. So you might be in the same situation where you are saying yes and yes to these different opportunities. But my question to you right now, before we get into this discussion of the power of saying no, are you doing the same thing? Are you doing the same thing? All right, welcome, Samantha K. Harris. Thank you for joining. Please drop in the chat what you do and who you do it for. All right, so let's talk about, making sure that we're not just saying yes to all the opportunities that you may be getting, but we're saying yes to the right ones and also saying no. And it's okay to say no as you are building, as you're growing as a founder. Because when it comes to visibility is not a strategy if you are in the wrong room. And that individual of the story that I shared, clearly that person thought they were in the right room because of the opportunities, but realized later on that even though they were getting visibility, they were getting opportunities, that was not the right place to spend their time. So I want you to think of, if you're visible, if you're out here doing I feel like there's a glitch. You're out here, getting opportunities and doing different things. And you're questioning yourself like, okay, I'm doing all these things, but the opportunities are not coming. So when it comes to visibility, you have to be very intentional. You have to be very intentional with how you're spending your time. As a founder, especially, you don't have much time because you're building, you're growing, you're supporting clients, you're leading your team. So when you are in the wrong rooms, guess what? You confuse because you're invited that this is the room you need to be in, when in actuality, it is not. That means growth is not coming. Opportunities are not coming because you are in the wrong room. So ask yourself, are your buyers in the right room, in the room that you're in? Are your buyers there before you say yes to these opportunities? Are your buyers in that room? Okay. Or are there people in that room that could potentially connect you to a buyer? That's another question. Samantha said, I used to say yes to the wrong opportunities. All of us are guilty of that, including myself. But I've learned, okay, like Maya Angelou, when you know better, you do better, okay? So I want you to ask yourself, are your buyers in the room that you are attending? Is this agency aligned with what I'm building? Because you might be building something and speaking to the wrong agency. And these are the type of conversation that we're going to continue to have, because positioning, alignment, and being in the right room all of those are important. All of those, okay? My next question, does this opportunity move your long-term positioning? Because again, what is your long-term positioning? Okay. And if you answer like, you know what, Chevy, the rooms I'm going to, they're not aligned. My buyers are not there. If you're saying, you know what, I think I'm aligned, but I'm not clear. I don't, I might be off. If you're saying, you know what, my positioning, does not align with this opportunity, then, you have to be like, okay, I got to start shifting and creating that yes. Because if that's all of those are yes, then something has to change right now. Okay. Something has to change right now. So when it comes to being in the federal market and being in the innovation space, like, you want to get to where you're saying yes to those questions consistently. Okay. Because if you don't, guess what happens? You waste proposal time writing the proposals for the wrong agency. Compliance review, that means you're not in compliance. Your team bandwidth is at an all-time, high, where they don't have any capacity because you're going after opportunities that doesn't align with them, does not align with your company. Okay. So, and also partnership alignment, that is affected as well too. So do understand that as you are building and growing, you have to look at, am I going to the right rooms, or am I just going things because I enjoy them? And that's fine. But if you're building and growing, you have to be intentional, you have to be strategic, and you have to be clear and disciplined with what you are doing and where you are going. Okay. And when it comes to discipline, by being disciplined in what you're doing and where you're going, it really protects your positioning. And I say that because when you are positioned the right way, people know, okay, Chevy does positioning, Chevy does cyber proposal, Chevy does cyber advisory support. I was having a conversation with another business owner yesterday, and she shared how, because of her, on Thread, someone was looking for a book, author or business person who does like help individuals to write a book and so forth. And three other people tagged that person to that post and say, this person is going to be a great fit. Another person, this person will be a great fit. Another person, this person will be a great fit. And you know why that happened? Because she was disciplined and she positioned her, what she does, so that people surrounding her who may not know her that well refer her to a stranger to say, hey, you might need to you might want to check out this person. So this applies to you as well as a founder. What does your positioning look like? Have you been disciplined, or do you keep changing and adjusting your positioning over and over? You want to be known for one thing. I'm known for this specifically when it comes to my consulting business: cyber, innovation, federal opportunities, helping tech founders. So that is clear. That message is clear. So again, by going into different rooms that are not in alignment, you're giving them a different story. You're providing them with a different viewpoints. And they're going to be like, oh, this you do health? Oh no, we do. Then they're looking like, what's going on? Not unless you're focused specifically in that space. Great. So, if you're a founder, and you don't have the discipline, you have to get disciplined. So stop with the continuously pivoting consistently. Stop chasing trends. Stop chasing all the opportunities, and really stop spreading yourself thin. Okay. And let's talk a little bit about discipline. And discipline is not only for your business. This is discipline applies to how you move, how you think, how you act, how you respond. It encompasses the whole person. And I was having a conversation with my son. If you have kids, if you have a teenager, they are going through their own challenges. And sometimes it's very minute. Sometimes they don't want to do certain things because they're bored, whatever the case may be. And I had a conversation with my son yesterday about him being intentional, but also disciplined when it comes to his schoolwork. Because sometimes with kids, they just like, well, I'm bored, or they do the work and not turn it in. And I had to give him that perspective for him to see and reflect. If you're not disciplined, these are your outcomes. In 2 years, you can graduate on time and go off into the world, because in 2 years, you'll be a young adult. Or you can choose not to do your work and not turn things in because you lack the discipline and you're choosing not to. And I'm telling him, you get to choose. And I asked him, what type of life do you want for yourself 2 years from now? So as a founder who is building, who have an innovative idea, in the next 3 to 6 months, what do you want to see more of when it comes to your business, when it comes to your innovation? Is it more alignment? Is it clearer positioning? Is it going after cyber innovation opportunities? Or is it going into multiple rooms when your buyers are not there, or going after things where you're overextending yourself or overextending your team? You get to decide. You get to decide on how you want to move forward. So again, we have to get discipline, because when you are disciplined in this space, when it comes to cyber, innovation, federal, you get to select the right opportunities. You truly get to select the right opportunities. Drop opportunities in the chat. All right, we have Samantha here. She said, I'm from New Jersey and she support women in the trades and male-dominated position to become strong, confident leaders and get paid. I also help companies retain the talented women they hired, which allows the companies to stop losing money. Love, 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 love that. And thank you for sharing that. And again, part of what I do ask you to share what you do because you never know who is watching. This is also part of positioning and visibility, but being visible in the right places. We're here on LinkedIn. Someone else who is not in the tech space could be watching this later on and come across and say, hey, we're in a male-dominated space and we're looking for someone, with the support and services that Samantha has. Yes, opportunity, because we all want opportunities. We all want opportunities, and we do miss a lot of opportunities because we're saying yes to other opportunities that are no longer aligned or not even aligned from the beginning. Okay. So we have to stay disciplined because when we're disciplined, we get aligned to the mission. Your position is on point and you will get opportunities. Okay. Because I get opportunities. Samantha get opportunities. The young lady I shared got opportunities. I shared the story with the person who was in rooms. They did not get opportunities. So again, you have to look at how am I positioning my company for those opportunities by saying no to the things that doesn't align. So we're talking about the power of saying no. And this is part of the strategic discipline that you have to implement as a founder. So when it comes to growth, it's not about how many doors. Like truly, it is not about how many doors. It's not bragging like, hey, I connected with 50 people. No. It's about, okay, which doors actually opened up opportunities? Maybe it's one, maybe it's two, maybe it's three. And I know a lot of founders are, they're in a space where they're hungry for opportunities. And I get it. But you want to make sure that as you feed your business, you feed yourself that, to kind of satiate that hunger feeling, you want to make sure that, okay, I'm going here because it makes sense. I'm not saying yes because I'm like, maybe there's a potential opportunity. Maybe. Or I can go here because I know, like, you know what? These are my true buyers. We have to look at how often we're saying yes to things and people who are no longer in alignment or does not fit into your current position at this moment. Keyword, at this moment. Okay. So if you're building something innovative and it is impactful, that it is a need for the government, for the US government as a whole, and like there's an agency out there who can use your innovation, and you want to make sure that you are tapping into the right opportunities, speaking to the right agency, and applying to the right agency, then I want you to DM me the word fit, because we have to make sure that you fit into those specific areas, the agency, the mission, the positioning, your innovation. Like we have to make sure that it fits, because too often founders are going after things and it doesn't fit. And it's like you're starting the wheel all over again. So instead of spending time, money, and resources to move forward with something that is not fully clear and positioned correctly, send me a DM with the word fit. I had another conversation with a business owner who supports, their clients, and they're looking at, hey, maybe there's an opportunity to utilize your services, Chevy, because I want to make sure that my client is positioned, but also they have insight when it comes to the cyber process to make sure that any gaps that is there, I can identify and help that person to move forward better. So if you're in that space, reach out to me, send me the word DM. I want to thank Samantha for joining me. And I, came a little bit late because I had a meeting, but I'm here every Wednesday as your host. I am Chevy, your federal execution partner, helping tech founders like yourself who wants to gain federal opportunities through qualified proposal and core partnerships so that they can continue to build and grow without sacrificing time and capacity. I'm here every Wednesday at 11 a.m. CST. I'm about to say Eastern time, but CST time. And definitely reach out if you have any questions. You can send me a DM. If you have questions, you can drop it here. If you're like, hey, here's my question after watching this replay. And also hashtag replay and share this live with anyone that you feel like, hey, my friend is in the tech space. He or she is looking to do X. Have them follow me, have them connect with me. And also I am streaming live on YouTube. So thank you for anyone who's watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the Executive Innovation Show there as well. And y'all have an amazing day as always.